All right, welcome everyone. I am going to go ahead and mute everybody that is currently in the call. As I put in the chat, please make sure if you are joining the call after I've already done this, mute yourselves out of courtesy of everybody taking the class. I want to make sure everyone has the best opportunity to hear everything that we are going over. And I will be taking questions at the end of the session. If you would like to type them in the chat window, feel free to do so, and I will get to them at the end. Otherwise, hold on to them, and I will have a section devoted at the end of this class where you can unmute yourselves and join in with any questions that you have. For anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Anuj. I am the field marketing specialist down here in Santa Cruz and Monterey County. I am here today to talk to you guys about our InTouch website. So this is part 2 of a session that I began yesterday talking about contacts. If you guys weren't in that session, there's a whole slew of links that will be going out at the end of the week with recaps to all of these classes. Make sure you watch that because some of this might not make sense if you didn't, as well as for everybody attending this session. As you guys can see, you are being recorded at the top of your screens. I will be recording this session and uploading it to a YouTube channel where all of my classes that I will be teaching over the course of the next month will be. So you can also find that first class there. All right, without further ado, let's get into websites. So a lot of what we talked about yesterday was how you manage your contacts and start to think about how you want to build campaigns to contact them in a cyclical nature with everything focused around guiding people back to your website. Why? Because that's the hub of your brand. Everything about the InTouch websites is built to filter any kind of lead captured into that system right to you to allow you to continue to be the most proactive agent you can be. And the biggest thing that consumers are looking for out of your website is what? They want relevance and information that not only about homes, but about the communities in which they live. You guys need to be able to provide your consumers, your audience, and your sphere reasons to visit your website beyond a transaction. That way you A, remain top of mind, and B, become very easy for someone to recommend to start to grow that sphere beyond the people that are currently in it. So I'm going to go ahead and kill my camera, start sharing my screen, and you guys can follow along with me as I edit my website. So let's go into CB Desk. Everybody knows CB Desk. I went over this yesterday, so I'm not going to do it again. We're going right into my InTouch tab. Now, as you're going to see here, we land on our dashboard. I don't have any new contacts I need. Oh, I do have a new contact here, so I want to make sure I address this, do all the good stuff that we talked about in yesterday's session about managing your contacts and staying on top of the system. So once you take care of that kind of stuff, we want to go in, and here is our website icon. You're going to see two things: edit site, view site. If you're a pro user, you're also going to see blog posts because there's a system that manages that inside of this unit as well. Our standard users don't have that, so you're only going to see the two options. We're going to hit edit site. That's going to take us to our main landing page for the back end of the website. And I always recommend you also hit view site, have your website open. You guys can see my little rinky-dink website. I'm not an agent. I don't have a license number, so there are some things missing, but it gives you the grand scheme and general idea. 90% of what you edit on this website will update live, meaning you can refresh this page and you'll see those changes reflected right away. Everything else takes usually up to 24 hours to update. If you were changing this logo, if you're making a super extensive, if you're changing like the whole layout or things like that, you might have to see some delay, but generally most of your changes will happen live. Once you're in the system, I'm going to actually show you, you'll see, we're going to quickly talk about this. There's a section here built into everybody's website called the Agent Bio Card that is on your homepage. I was talking yesterday about stuff in the My Account section of your InTouch account. We're going to go to My Account. account and the stuff underneath this section we reviewed yesterday all pertains to your website. So we've got a bio summary, which is that first card that shows up right here, and a full bio. This is showing up in the about section of your website. As you can see, I've got a little picture. I've got all this good stuff here. We're going to go over editing this in just a second, but that's where these two items of your website live. To edit them, it's just as easy as hitting that edit button, going in here and making the changes that you want to make. Always have a professional bio. I can't stress that enough. People that are getting to the point on your website where they are reading this there's an expectation from a consumer that your bio reads less like a Wikipedia page and more like a actual bio about a business and a brand. Now, our design concierge team does a great job with bios with two reasons in mind, too. They don't only write a bio that is in line with current trends, but also full of the right kind of keywords to help your website inherently boost its SEO value. Now, what is SEO? That stands for search engine optimization. That refers to all kinds of networked internet marketing that you can create on these systems organically. You know, SEO, there's nothing paid that goes into anybody's SEO rankings. So things like keywords, how frequently they show up on a website, how they're tagged into the pages, what kind of things link out of and to a website, all factor into how popular your website will be on search engine searches. Now, SEO is a whole big truck for a whole other day, so that's a different class. I just wanted to mention that as part of what you guys should be thinking about when you're putting all these things together. Everything lives online. Every character of a page is searchable. And what you put on these websites matters more than the inherent surface value of what your client reads. There is a whole back-end system in play that we want to think about. Now, things like adding, you can see I have a little photo here. If you want to add a photo, you can see how this insert edit image was highlighted. That is where you can add images just like you would in a Word document. So think of editing this thing just like it is using Word. You've got your your justification for the margins. You've got bold, italic, underline. There's a handful of fonts you can choose from, a handful of sizes. You can make things bullet points. You can link to things. You can add special characters as well as embed things into the source code. If you are capable and able of doing such things, this gives you an added net to be able to work with the website. It is HTML coding, so bear that in mind. You've got limitations there on the language, but outside of that, you know, if you don't know what you're doing here, don't do anything with it. If you do know what you're doing, feel free to go in here and make changes that you think will help justify your website more to your own personality and your own needs. Most of what you'll do in here is embed YouTube videos. You can grab one and drop it in. So this, for example, is my photo that's in there. And if I put in an embed code for a YouTube video or a Vimeo video right underneath here, that's where it would pop up. Images, on the other hand, need to be inserted from the image library. So when I was in the marketing center yesterday, that's where you would upload images to that library. So to show you guys how to do that for this example, because it's the same example if you're trying to upload pictures into pages on your website, you're going to need to make sure they're already saved in this system so you can, as you can see here, you can add in that source code for the image, give it a title if you'd like, but that's not necessary, and then put in the proper size. The constrained proportions means that the picture will always adjust for its height and weight appropriately. It won't do them independently, allowing you to skew the image. If you uncheck that box, you can change the height independently of the width, and you're not going to have fun. So let's go to my marketing center and let's look at where I want to add images to my library of things that I don't only want to appear in email blasts and stuff that I'm sending out, but also on my website. We've got that images library right there. So I'm gonna go right back to marketing and hit images right there. These are all of the things I have saved onto this library for myself. You can upload an image. It's just as easy as uploading an image anywhere else that you would do so. And then to insert that image anywhere, all I have to do is click on the image like this one, right click, copy image address. And that's going to give me the special code I need now to go back to my, in this case, my account, and go to edit my bio. And let's say I want to put that picture in, right? It's not there. So I'm going to go right where I want it, which is underneath this quote. I do want it centered. So I'm going to align my cursor into the center. I'm going to click on insert image. I'm going to paste my code right there. And boom, you can see that's a big number, right? So that means, oh my God, I've got a huge image. So I can go right in here. I could do, first thing is just let's cut off that first two. Boom, automatically constrained, and it's going to shrink. Or now that it's manageable, I can grab one of the corners, shrink it down as I like. I'm going to hit save, and now that's done. Right underneath that, you've got a social media link section. Here is where you can link to whatever pages that you are managing. Do not link to social media channels you do not use. If you're not updating them at least every 3 days, do not include it here. There is nothing worse for your brand than an account unmanaged. So for me, I've got the big three that we operate in: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I also want to link my YouTube. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and grab my YouTube page. Sorry, there's like this weird thing up here that I can't get rid of, and I had to shrink that real quick. I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to go to my channel, which is right here. So I can go your channel. And all I have to do is grab my channel link. And I am going to go back to my editor. I'm going to hit add social media. I'm going to choose the one I want to add, which is YouTube. Paste that link here. I actually don't need that view as subscriber there. And I'm going to hit save. And now we can see these 3 links. And when I hit home to refresh my page, have turned into 4 links. All are clickable and dynamic and will take me wherever I need to go, whether it be the YouTube page or an Instagram page. All of them will work just like you need them to. And if you need to make any edits, you've got a pencil button to make an edit. If you need to remove anything, the X will obviously make that removed. That's the account section. That is everything about this account section that manages something that appears on the website. The other big thing you need to do in here is go to this spot, MLS setup. Click on this. You guys shouldn't see as big of a mess here as mine is. You should only see, for example, my region is MLS listing. So you'll see your MLS associated here. Don't mess with the numbers. Your SSA or your marketing specialist or somebody will have already gone and plugged numbers in here. You should see an agent ID and an office ID. If you do not see those things in there, reach out to your SSA. They will handle that for you. Let's go now back to our edit website. So, bam, now we're on our pages and menu screen. As you can see, all of these items pertain to all of the menu items running along the top of my menu. You can grab and move things, hit save, that order will be reflected. You can also, as you can see, have subcategories. When you drop something in there, they become, as you can see, a drop-down section to help keep your page organized, to allow, again, for a consumer standpoint, you don't want something to be too cluttered, especially if you're viewing a website on a mobile device. A lot of tabs, taking a lot of space. Being able to organize yourself here is an ideal way to show that your business is concise, to the point, and where it needs to be and focused. Every change you make, obviously hit save. You'll have a built-in set of default pages. Most of all of those can't be removed, but they can be renamed. So you can always change some of these to whatever name you would like them to be. You can also add your own pages, or in my YouTube channel case, add a link. And I just put YouTube channel in for the link. So that way, when you hit there, it takes you right to the channel. You can also turn some of these pages off by unpublishing them. Any new page that you add will start unpublished, meaning, obviously, it's not visible regardless of where you have it placed. You don't see that new tab unless you go in and publish it. So when you're editing these websites, you can maintain a level of, under construction without having to show people the pieces that are being built as they happen. Once they're in and ready, you can hit publish and that website will go live. If you need to remove anything, obviously, it's just as easy as hitting delete and save. Everything will be saved. So let's say the first thing you want to really edit, right, is the design and layout of the shell that makes up this page. That starts right here in appearance. So I'm going to click on appearance. This is where you can see website logo. If you hit change logo, you've got all of the company options in here. If you are a global luxury certified agent, you will also see global luxury options as well. If you are not, then obviously you will not. Any of these changes do take a little time to update in the system. So if I did make a change, these wouldn't happen right away. But that's as easy as doing that. Now, the setup wizard is where a lot of this homepage adjustment, a lot of the big things for the homepage adjustment get done. You can do, obviously you can see there are three layouts. You've got the bungalow, which I use, two-door, and villa. You can also have each layout with a dark text light background or light text dark background, whichever you prefer. Your next section will give colors and fonts. As you can see, my accent color is this blue, and my secondary accent color is white. But let's say I wanted to make this a darker blue, and I wanted to make this another shade of bluish green. I can, once I save these, you'll see them update, but you can also change your font. As you can see, there's a handful built in here. As I am scrolling through, you can see how they change. You can also change your headline text color. I'm gonna go next. Images is where you can upload images to the homepage. This is a great asset because it gives you 4 pictures that rotate in a library, all of which can be SEO and meta tagged to your website, meaning over time, 6, 18, 36 months of updating your website regularly, you will slowly be building a library of pictures associated to various regions, businesses, locations, whatever the pictures are of in the areas that you operate that are meta tagged and locating back to your website. It's a lot of words. What does that mean? For example, I have an agent, Brian McKenzie, in my Santa Cruz County offices, who's been really good about uploading content online for a number of years now. When you search Santa Cruz under images in Google, in those first 25 images, a couple of them are actually directly from his pages. If you click on them twice, like if you're double clicking an image to see where it comes from, it will take you to his website. That's the power of this kind of stuff, to pull you up into Google searches, not just for things real estate related, but in your community as well. What do these rotating slideshows look like? I've got one right here on one of my agents' websites who's updating it, and it just gives you a, like I said, a rotating slate of the 4 pictures that are in there. Now, every picture you add will give you the option to meta tag it and add a title. If you have a title, you will see that title pop up like mine is, Bixby Creek Bridge, right here in the middle of the photo. If you don't have a headline, the photo remains blank and clean, and then you can choose also if you would like to have that little menu attached or not. Here, uploading images is just as easy as using any uploader. Anything that is already in the system, you can grab because you would have already uploaded it, or you can drop a file in here. Once you've got everything in the system, you can again choose what shows up along the top of your page right here. If you would like a property search option, which is this, and where you would like that bar located, I have mine center because I have an image, I have text right there, so it's right underneath it. Sean doesn't have any text, so he's got his search bar underneath, so the images remain clean. Again, like I stressed in the last session, should have brought this up when I was talking about images, make sure you own the rights to images you are using, meaning you either paid someone to take them and you have a copyright agreement with them, or you took the photo yourself, so then there's no harm, no foul. Do not post pictures that are copywritten without the copyright holder's approval. That being said, once you're done, you can also decide what you want that search bar to say. Mine says home starts here. The default text is discover your dream home. But again, do whatever feels like you, do whatever works for you. I'm going to hit save. Those things like the color changes now you will see reflected when I refresh. And I believe I also changed my font. So my font's a little bit different. And you can see now I've got this little green teal E accent that pops up as well. Yay! Now, appearance is done. We're going to go into pages and actually show you the meat of the editing, for example, just of this homepage, which is the same way you can edit every page in this system. I'm going to hit edit page. Obviously, that bio in the card is auto-populated into, as you can see, this agent contact card, bio summary, stylized photo. That is the layout and all that I chose. You can edit this and choose a different design if you'd like. That includes the bio, some that don't include the bio, secondary color, primary color, secondary color, save, and that will now change to update. You can also get rid of this if you would like to get rid of it by deleting it. I don't want to delete it, so I'm not going to. All of these cards, you can see that little hand pop up right there. All of these can also be moved, with the exception of the very top one. That one is locked where it is, but everything else can be wiggled around to adjust. And as you can see, there's also a testimonial section that is available and a featured property and recent sales section that is on by default. If your MLS ID is connected in that MLS setup I told you about, where there should be numbers already in there, and if there's not, talk to your SSA. If that is working properly, you will see properties here. If you turned them on, I will talk about turning properties on in just a moment. You can also change the way these look as well. There's a few different layouts and designs, whatever option works for you. You can also add custom pages. So you can see if you deleted a card, all of the default cards are here and can be turned on by selecting any of those, or you can add custom content and you can give this section a headline. Let's say And I want to make this a blue background because, or my primary color. And then now I'm going to type in text. Here's a list of businesses. Oops. You can order from during the shelter in place. And I can hit next. Of course, you can build that section out. You can add text links, obviously, to make it useful to your clients. And boom, that'll automatically pop in right on the bottom. I wanted to move that somewhere else. I can pop that right there, and now it's there. As soon as you are done with everything you want to do, you hit preview and save, which is down here in the bottom right. This is what the cool part is. It's going to give you a preview of your website. As you can see right now, I am previewing it in its desktop mode. Now, clicking up here, I can see what my consumers will see when they view my website on a tablet. And lastly, what they'll see when they review it mobilely. Awesome. Once we're done, we can hit save, or you can go back to the editor. You will see that congratulations, your changes have been saved. Then you are good to close. Once you close that out, bam, we're right back here to our mainstay section. As you can see, I can refresh, and my little changes have taken hold. The next big part of our website editing that we're going to talk about is right here, this community section. This is obviously the very first inherent value added by an agent on their website, because on the forefront, outside of being community leaders, especially in our time right now, you guys do sell real estate and you have relevant information, updates, news, all that good stuff about the communities everybody lives in, because that's why you want to sell in these communities, because you love them. So you're the best person to not only get information from on buyer side, but on seller sides as well. I've got these two sections in. I really love the photo layout. As with every other section on the homepage, there are several different layout options. If you use the photo layout, as you can see, I've got two pictures in there. I've got two communities. So there's only two pictures, and they're stock photos that will rotate. You can replace them with actual photos of communities. So instead, they show up. I'm going to show you guys an example. They show up like this with photos of, you know, the actual community that you're operating in. Now, how do we edit this community section? That is done here in content under communities served. So you can see these are the two communities I currently have on my website. I want to add this third one, Big Sur. I'm going to hit add community. And like I said, these are huge, right? This is a spot where you can really create reoccurring value to your page by tying in all kinds of things specifically back to your social media accounts. So let's say I am keeping in sign of the times, COVID-19, I'm doing interviews on Microsoft Teams with local business owners that, you know, I've made business to business connections with. We can talk about how this is affecting them, their business, and what the community can do to help keep everybody together. You can film that interview, you can have it on your Instagram account and tell everybody, hey, for the full video, check out my YouTube, and also a link to my website where an updated and reoccurring list of where you can find all of this relevant information is being kept, right? Obviously, that does require work, but all of these resources, just like a marketing plan, is only going to go as far as you are willing to put effort into it. I'm going to go ahead and make my Big Sur area. And just to give you an idea of what these layouts look like, let's look at one that is absolutely complete, right? You can have photos in there. You can have all kinds of great information in here. And let's show you what we're aiming at. You've got a main photo. There's a beautiful quote behind it. We've got information. You've got stuff about the neighborhood. Two more photos to separate from property information, which again, everything about the website, no matter what they're looking at, whether you're coming in from a listing alert, whether you're coming in from a home search, or whether you're starting a new search, every property remains tagged to you, where your client can schedule a tour with you, ask you a question, get a payment calculator, check nearby schools, nearby listings, get all the hoot and a half of information that they can get without ever stumbling back out into the larger internets. Now, I've digressed enough. Back to communities. Let's talk about building one of these, right? So first thing I want to do, is this a primary community you work in? If you check those boxes for specific communities, if you don't check them, as you can see, everything gets sorted default by alphabet. But if you do check some of those boxes, what you will see is your primary communities will float to the top with their photos. So I am going to, this is one of my primary communities, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, community boundary. This is important because this is how, sorry guys, I got to do that again. This is how the information for all of the listings that show up here get determined for each community you enter. So this gets done two ways. A, by zip code. So I could enter Big Sur zip code, which is blanking. Just going to Google it real quick. And it is 93920. I'm going to go back to my editor. And I'm going to add it in here. And you will see, boom, Big Sur pop up. You can add as many zip codes as you want for that community. What is happening here is the IDX feed coming out of MLS is linking up with your website and pulling listings within that zip code for that area. Now, you can, like I said, do it by zip code, or you can draw it on a map and include every property within the boundaries of the map you draw. So if you were, for example, doing the Highway 68 corridor, and you wanted, that's not a traditionally tagged area in the MLS, and and I'm not going to go out and find it right now, but let's say it's right down here somewhere, right? So you can go down here and hit draw community, and go yes, and then click hold, and we're going to draw until that circle is complete and let go. And now everything within those boundaries will be included in my home search for properties that show up. But again, you can only do one or the other. I'm going to get rid of that map, put Big Sur in. The community summary. This section right here, I've gone ahead and did my homework already. I highly recommend you guys do too, because it'll save you a lot of time. I'm going to go ahead and put in this sentence that I have for my community summary. This is going to be the text that shows up right over the first photograph I add. You can add 3 photos for each community. Right down here and add image. Put a pin in that. I'm going to get to it in a second. The first one is always going to be where the community summary quote goes. The second 2 photos will always show up right underneath the community description, which is the big bulk paragraph right there. That description is what's going to separate the photos are what separate that description from the property info available in the zip codes or region that you have drawn. Now, key characteristics, as you guys saw, are those things that show up on the right-hand side, just above the map on a community section. Is this important for your consumer? Yes, because A, it lets them know these things about the communities, and B, all of this stuff plays into the back end of your website to tag the page with all of these keywords to make sure that it plays nice algorithmically with all of the fun SEO systems that make up the internet. You can check, obviously, from any of the things that are in here, or add your own based on what you know about that community. Images, as I said, go right in here. Same deal. Don't post images you do not own the rights to, because that's a mess. I'm going to drop my image right in there. I'm going to hit save. SEO title, meta description. Again, things that will benefit your business, that are distinctive to the community, full of keywords that tell people, A, what are they looking at? B, how does this play well with, everything people could be searching online? Again, whole other class, whole different topic of conversation, but each community page should have its own SEO title and a meta description. Once we hit save, this community is going to show up. So I can hit refresh. And now I've got 3 communities. One has that beautiful picture in there, and you can see all of the great information I have in here. My zip code shows 4 single-family homes that are available in Big Sur. And, everything's doing what I need it to. I go to my communities page. My main communities are right here. Again, make this a valuable space for your consumers to be. Have information about the community, have resources about the community available, rotate great content about local things that are available, because we're not just trying to attract people in the area to work with you. You're also selling the region to potential buyers out of the area. The more information you can provide to your consumers that is relevant to them, the better. Now that we've touched on communities, there's a quick thing I'm going to touch about, this little footer at the bottom. That is what this is right here. There's not a lot that you can do for the footer outside of, maybe put in some personal branding, add an image. The footer size and legalese that is in there all comes from the company. That is uneditable. This will just allow you to put in a little space in between where that footer starts and where your name appears. Custom analytics, this section, we've talked about putting content in everywhere, right? How can you get reporting back? Well, we talked yesterday about how you can see some of the analytics on emails that are going out. If you have a Google Analytics account, you can enter that tracking ID in here. Same for Pixel. If you have a Pixel account and you want to track your Facebook ads and the effectiveness of those, you can add that here, and everything will get emailed to you as a part of the analytics report that you get for your website from Market Leader. The partners is a section that is built in by the company. So for us, it's Guaranteed Rate is your lending partner, and American Home Shield is the other one. Those are not changeable. If you are a pro user, you do get more play with that. But if you didn't want it there, you can always turn that page off by going into partners and unpublishing that page. And then testimonials are just what they sound like. They are testimonials to your website. If someone leaves one, they show up in these lovely quoted sections right here. And then if a consumer were to hit more, they're all housed on your about page in a nice built-in section. Here is where you can see all of those testimonials. Obviously, they are not editable, but if you've got some clown that is, harassing you for whatever reason, you can go in and delete things to make sure that they don't show up on your website. Easy peasy. How does a consumer leave a testimonial? That is on your About page next to that beautiful green smiley face. Recommend me. Put in your name. How do you know me? You get 1,000 characters, prove you're not a robot, and hit recommend, and it shows up beautifully in that section. The last thing I need to talk about with our websites is optimizing the search. All of our websites have a listing search feature. This is how listing alerts are created and sent out. This is where they will get guided to when they open one of those alerts. If they open a listing thing from you, if they're Everything is built to guide them back here, where, like I said before, you can look at properties, and everything you click on, regardless of what you click on, stays branded to you. If you want to change the parameters for what shows up on your website, this is where you would do it. If you want residential income properties to show up, you check that box. If you don't want mobile or manufactured, you uncheck that box, and so on and so forth with all of these categories. Features and optional search fields. I stress, be careful with. If you check air conditioning, basement, you are at the behest of real estate agents, including those things in a search. So either have them all checked or have none of them checked. But if you start just including a couple, then you'll start seeing your search fields get wonky. The search areas are obviously going to be where you're licensed. Lead generating and tracking activity. What does this mean? This is essentially, when does the paywall on your site go up? How many properties does a Joe a client get to browse before they are asked to enter their email and their name to be able to save that search so you can get that information? Active will allow, it's the most strict, it will mean visitors are asked to sign in before they view their second property. So that means I could look at one house, and then the second home I click on, that paywall will pop up. Passive means it will pop up on the fifth. Other gives you the choice of where you would like it to go. You do, if you're a pro user, have the option for a search widget that will allow you to feed the basically, it's a widget that creates a listing search feature that you can put on other websites that you have, a blog, a social media page, whatever the case may be, a partner that you work with, a vendor that you work with, and that search widget will guide people right back to this website where, again, they can become a client of yours. Now, last thing I need to touch on is putting listings onto that website. I mentioned I'm not an agent, so I'm going to go into one of my agent's accounts real quick and just show you how to turn listings on and off. So if you want to have listings show up on your website in any of the sections, you need to, if you only want your websites to show up, you have to have more than 2 listings. If you want other office listings to show up, all you got to do is go in here, and we're going to go to listings. We're going to go market my listings. As you can see, we've got no listings right now. It's totally fine. We're going to go to my office's listings, and then all you would have to do is check the box, feature this property on my website. Easy peasy, and it's done. Whenever the property goes transitions into sold, it will automatically remove itself. Then you can just come back in here and turn more properties on as they need to be turned on. Same thing goes for your listings. Your listings should automatically check, feature this property on my website, but it's always good to come in here and double check, again, just to make sure that office listings are rotating through in a good way and that your listings are showing up, again, in the way you need them to. You can also review your sold listings. If not all of your sold listings are showing up because you started with a different brokerage or, whatever the case may be, you're going to click on this Add a Custom Property button, and you put in the address, basically everything that has this little asterisk next to it, which is essentially the property summary, some of the details, and upload a photo for the property. Hit save, and that property will get saved onto this list of custom properties that you can then check, feature on this website. And just like that, everything is now featured on your website, not only in, go to, not only in the featured property sections that appear on your page, and these are shuffled at random. There's no setting an order. So every time your consumer gets here, they're always looking for things. And more importantly, much like when I was talking about rotating the photos and getting, a new headshot every year, these are the kind of things that a consumer can land on your website and go, oh, something's changed. Let me look around. Because the biggest problem agents have is when you're not in a transaction with somebody, there's no value to your website for a consumer, and then they don't end up looking at your website but more than maybe once a year. If there isn't a reason for them to come back and they don't see anything has changed, then you've started to lose that contact. Now that I've digressed there, the last section, all of these will show up, is the My Properties tab. It's a default for all of you guys. You should all see it. Active listings will show anything that we checked to turn on. Your recent sales will be all of your custom properties and all of your sales, again, shuffled to come in and always look nice and fresh. That is websites in InTouch, everybody. I am going to open up the floor for questions and check to see if there's any in the chat window here. But yeah, feel free to let me know if anybody has any questions about anything I just went over. I'm going to take the initial stark silence as everybody understood that. Thumbs up. Obviously, this is being recorded. Feel free to review it. And like I said like I said in the last session, you guys have excellent support staff behind you. This is a great time to make sure that you are investing an effort in all of these resources for your consumers. When I've tried to add my historical sales, can only draw from MLS for a limited time frame. That's where you would go into that add custom property section that I showed there at the very end. You'll need to add the property info manually and have a photo linked or link to the old MLS posting, and it should show up just like they did for the agent I used as an example. Can we upload our company logo as well? If by your company logo you mean your own personal branding, yes, in any space that is a custom edited field. So essentially anywhere that you can edit things, yes, you can upload that as an image. Can you upload it in that main banner where the Coldwell Banker logo is? No, unfortunately at this time, you can only use the brokerage logo at the top banner. Not sure I understood the area of convert traffic and widget for. Convert traffic. If you could explain that. The widget is something available to pro users, and all the widget is a tool that you can use to share onto other websites, and it basically gives you a little a little icon that we call widgets that are dynamic that you can enter information in. So someone could be looking, let's say you have a photographer, like a local photographer that you work with exclusively, and they're willing to cross promote your business because of that relationship. So you give him the code for that widget so they can add that widget to their website. So anybody on that photography website that wants to search for properties can click into the search field on that widget, and then now it will take them to your website search. Suzanne, that is what you tried and you were still having problems. Reach out to your SSA, Genevieve, or shoot me an email too, and we can look into that. So only pro, I think you can add the logo. No, pro users cannot change that top logo where like the Coldwell Banker logo is, that one that I changed. Let me share my screen again just to make sure we're all on the same page. This logo can only be from those sections of the, can only be one of the logos out of this section right here under website. We go to edit site and we go to appearance. You can only use a corporate logo here. Now, anywhere that you can edit a page, so like anywhere on the home page, like you can have one. Let's go back to my website. So you can have, like, let's say you have a custom logo, you can have it dropped into the text like right here as a part of your branding, and also have it included in the about page as well as in the footer. But this logo right up here is locked as one of the brokerage logos. And there was another question there about adding a blog to the page. Yes. Now you can do one of two ways. If you're a pro user, there is a blog integrated into your website that has stuff being posted to it that you can also post to, or you can link to a blog by creating a link tab at the top of your page. And then, like I did with my YouTube page, and then having it link to that blog. Now, blogs are just like any other social media account. If it's not updated regularly, don't link to it, because again, there's nothing that's a worse look for your brand than something that's not complete. Any other questions I can answer for anybody? You guys have been great. You are welcome. I got a thank you from Truckee. I'm glad everybody has found this valuable. As always, make sure, like I said, you guys are all excellent agents with great resources, with a company that's doing its best to make sure that y'all can weather this storm. Take advantage of them. Take this time to really evaluate all of your marketing to make sure that you and your consumers are all, you're staying top of mind with all of your consumers, and they know that you are a valued resource, not just for real estate information, but for community information as well. Take care, everybody. Stay healthy, stay safe. I will email out a recap with a recording of this, along with a link. That recording will take you to the YouTube where you can see the other class as well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your SSA, your marketer, and take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.